How do I know if my genius zone is what people need? How do I even know what my genius zone is? That's what we're going to be talking about in today's episode. Hit subscribe for weekly videos to grow your consulting business and click the bell for notification of future videos. A listener asks, how do I know my genius zone is what people need? And how do I find my offerings and hone them and simplify them? These are great questions. So I'm going to share with you some various ways that you can figure out what your genius is and how it kind of aligns and compares to what else is out there. And then specifically how to know which parts of that to pull out and turn that into offerings that you can then hone and simplify. So first, I just want to acknowledge that uncertainty is what makes being a consultant scary. Like, we just don't know. Do people need what I do? Is there even like a need in the market for it? Are there gaps? Figuring out what's available in the market from other people is a really natural part of self-discovery and also market research. So take some time to network with other consultants and find out who's out there and what they're doing. That will help you get not just an eye into what the market is and what's available, but it also connects you to other people who are doing the work that you're doing, and they reflect back to you what that genius is, what the unique part of your genius is. You'll meet people who are doing something completely different, which doesn't mean your thing is wrong. What it means is there's space for your thing. You might meet other people who do exactly what you do, but they'll never be doing it exactly like you're doing it. And even if they do, there's no one who is you. So there's definitely going to be a place for you in the market. It's just a matter of learning what's out there and what's available. One of the key things to me about networking is doing it in person in your local area. Because when we network online, there's every possible permutation of everything. Like, there's absolutely nothing that's unique on the internet. But if you're marketing in your local area, you're going to find that there's very often nobody like you at all. And when I was doing local marketing and working with local clients, I would just find all the time, like, I was the only one of me I had ever met. And then I was the only one of me that anyone had ever met. And I got a lot of clients simply because I was the one who was physically present there. And they just didn't know anybody else who did marketing or did marketing with a background from the Coca-Cola company or did marketing the specific way I do it with a blend of spirituality or sales. It was just really a unique opportunity to meet people and find the niche in the market that I could fill. So I really encourage local in-person networking for this reason, because relationships are built like in this heart-to-heart, breath-to-breath level. And I think you'll find that when you meet people that way, they do need your genius. So that's my first just blanket encouragement. The next thing I want to share with you is there are so many ways to solve any problem of any company. And I work with consultants from such a wide range of specialties and areas and geniuses. Like, the genius zone of any 10 of my clients is going to be different, but a lot of them will actually work on very similar challenges. So for example, a classic one, very common amongst my clients, is a company comes in and says, we have a collaboration problem. Nobody wants to collaborate. They're all in their individual silos. 'Twas ever thus. When I was back at corporate, nobody wanted to collaborate with anybody. We were all in our individual silos. This is why I understand this is a problem and why it's a problem. So my clients and many other consultants will come to this situation with a million different possible solutions. And you, with your genius, might bring something different to it as well. For example, there's going to be someone who's a more training background who's going to say, well, I have a workshop or a training program to solve this. Someone else who has more of a coaching problem says, well, we'll do executive coaching. And then what about those who are like, we're more of a software company, and so they have a software solution that encourages collaboration. Here's another consultant who's like, I'm going to advise the CEO of the company about how she can get more cooperation and collaboration amongst her employees. There can be those play consultants who either take you off site so that you can have activities that'll build team building, or the ones who are playing on site that help people work together, and then they use play as a metaphor for collaboration. And what about an engineer who would simply design work projects that would force collaboration because this person was dependent on this one and this one had to work with this one? And then you can also just basically have an interior designer who says, well, we just need to take out that wall, and then these two departments will suddenly have to work together because they'll be in physical proximity all in the same room. all of those are different ways, different genius zones, and different solutions that are brought to solve a common problem. What you can hear in that is there's room for every possible genius zone, and there's all kinds of ways to solve a problem. Actually, any of them is just fine. So, how do I know my genius zone is what people need? Well, find out what all else is out there, what they've tried, and do you have a way to solve a problem that is relevant, resonates with them, and makes sense? And do you have a physical presence? Have you met them so that they're aware of you? If so, very often your genius is going to be what they need. So how do you find your offerings based on that? Given that I'm sure that your genius is needed, then how do you figure out exactly what you should be offering? And then how do you hone that and simplify it? This is where the trial and error is really probably the best way. From your previous work, whether you were with a corporate organization or family-owned business, or whether you did something else on your own, or whether you're straight out of school, who knows? You have some gifts that you're aware of. You have a genius zone that you have some awareness about. Now, that genius zone might grow and evolve through your work. I know mine has. You get better and better at certain things. You realize things that you're not interested in. And that's really what the beginning of your work is about. So right now you have some hypotheses. Like back when I was doing work before, people told me that I was really good at this. So you have some of your genius zone that's been mirrored back to you. You're like, wow, I didn't realize I was really good at this. I just knew that nobody else could do it. And now I realize that that's a specific thing that's unique to me. Cool. Okay. So people mirroring back to you your genius, that's a great thing. And then there's the stuff that you're like, oh, I get it. I'm really good at this. If somebody is around and they're like, hey, can we have a volunteer to do X? Then I'm always there with that. So that's really coming to know what your genius zone is. And what you'll do in the beginning is just test this out in different offers. So I don't like for people to niche down too quickly when they're consulting, because I want you to try out some different things, see what you like. It's kind of like the buffet of options or the menu. You're like trying out different things to see what you like. This can take the first few years that you're in business. Some people will clarify sooner. About the first 10 years, I did brand and marketing planning. Didn't take me 5 minutes to realize vision, mission, values, that kind of thing. Could not stand it. I just could not stand it. Can I do it? Yes, of course. Anybody who came out of corporate can probably run a vision, mission, values workshop and come out with a decent outcome. However, it doesn't mean we should. So you will, in those early years, maybe months, maybe you're faster than I am, but in that early time that you're consulting, you'll find the things that are not just your genius zone, the things that you're really great at, but also your joy zone, the things that give you energy. Those two pieces of information are helping you to figure out what you should offer. In the beginning, when I was looking for clients, I wouldn't specify too carefully what I would do. I would talk to them about what they needed, what their challenges were, and I would say, I can come in and solve those challenges this way. Just like the plethora of consultants I was describing who have everything from a software solution to a ropes course for team building, I could say, here are the ways I'll solve that challenge for you. So you'll have your initial few tools in your tool belt about the ways that you're going to work with your clients and the problems that you're going to solve for them. When my client Sharon came to me, that's exactly what she had. She had some pretty good ideas about what she didn't want to do. And that's when we started looking at taking on projects that would help her determine what her genius zone was and which kinds of offers were going to be the best fit for the kind of clients that she wanted to work with. So in the first 6 months to 6 years, like whatever is this long beginning period, as long as it takes you to figure out what is the thing that you want to be doing, then spend your time doing that. Can I offer just something different for 6 years? You can, definitely. You will probably find that either you will like or dislike something enough to put it on the roster, meaning, oh, wow, I really love doing brand plans. I definitely want to keep that. Oh, wow, I really don't like doing vision, mission, values. I really want to cut that. So over the time that you're working, you're going to hone it. It took me less than 5 years. I think it'll take most people less than 5 years. For my client, Sharon, the thing that I wanted to point out about her is she spent a year on her own testing things. And then when she came to work with me, we spent about a year helping her figure out what her offers were. What do people want to buy from her? What did she want to offer? And then from there, within the next 2 to 3 years, we spent that time honing those offers and creating a signature system around it so that her work got more efficient. That was the progress from knowing what her genius zone was to figuring out what her joy and genius zone was to then how do I market this specific offer most efficiently? In all of these initial years, it's basically pilot testing those offers. And those can be done in small workshops and 3-month engagements, just so you're trying things out, or you can try them out as transformational engagements, meaning a year long. By the time I was doing year-long engagements, I already knew what I wanted to be doing. From time to time, you can test out a new offer and see if there's something that you want to add to your tool belt. The last key thing here that I want you to do is remember to align whatever that joy and genius zone of your work is with your larger life and business goals. My client Sharon really, really wanted to travel the first few years that she was in business. And so a lot of the clients that she took and a lot of the projects that she did were short-term, but they were international. They involved traveling to and being on site with her clients. Another client, Olivia, had small children still at home and she did not want to travel. So she set up her business so that the other partners or trainers that she hired to work in the business could be fulfilling for her while she stayed at home. That meant that the genius zone that she brought to her work was more strategic and it was more in the remote meetings with the client or in kickoff meetings. So she was more involved in the selling and the kickoff and putting in place that curriculum. And then she could send away the trainers to work on site with the clients and didn't require as much travel from her. You can set up your business however you want, however aligns with your joy and genius zone. There are companies out there who are wishing and hoping and launching the intention that someone like you will show up to help them with the challenges in their businesses. You can hear that there is work for any kind of genius, like as disparate as someone who does a software solution, someone who does interior decorating, and someone who does executive coaching. All of these solutions can be applied to a problem. Your particular genius has an application, and there's somebody out there who's looking for you right now. So what I want you to do is rest assured that your genius is needed. Make yourself visible, put yourself out there so that people know that you're available to help them. And even more than being visible online, I want you to consider being visible in your local market to those people who know, like, trust, live in the same community with you. Those are the people who you can most help most often. And they often get the best results from working with you. If you want to know more about how various consultants bring their gifts to their businesses, then I invite you to download my free definitive guide to winning six-figure clients. In there, I profile several of my clients, their joy and genius zones, and how they've worked together with their clients on transformational engagements. You can find the definitive guide at samanthahartley.com/super. And with that, I'm wishing you a profitable and joyful consulting business. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and click the bell for notifications. And here are a couple of related episodes that will help you to build an even more profitable, joyful consulting business.